And your co-pilot.
Yeah, so what's special about meditation is that regardless of what's happening, essentially what we're doing is we're practicing attitude of just being with and not interfering. We're cultivating the perspective of interest and care. We're watching to see how phenomena unfolds, which oftentimes we can't actually see and understand how it unfolds because we generally intervene before that happens. And we steer away our experience from how it was just naturally opening up to be. So we miss out on that opportunity. But by being able to hold back, by being able to just watch, certain things become revealed that we might have not had the opportunity to see had we intervened. And the beautiful aspect of this is not just that we start to see more clearly the nature of phenomena or how we tend to relate to things and what our habitual behaviors are, but also this dropping in, this essentially letting go of control, which we don't do in the rest of our lives for the most part, starts to cultivate a condition of just being with, of not interfering, of letting go of control. And without us being conscious, it starts to carry over into our day-to-day lives. So whereas in the past, I might have jumped in because there was an awkward silence, my habit now is to not interfere or jump in as quickly. And maybe I just sit back and watch. And maybe in that discomfort of silence, something else emerges that would have never emerged before because I was so quick to intervene. So life starts to have a mysterious quality to it when we let go of control, because we really don't know what the outcome is. And there's a richness that is allowed because the control, which creates a narrowness, which directs the experience to be in a particular way, is released. And now there's all of these different possibilities. And so little by little, not only are we starting to unwind, because the more we try to control something, the more we end up suffering, right? Because we can't control everything, and we might try to, but it's tremendously energetically expensive. It's exhausting, and it doesn't work. So we end up being disappointed or blaming ourselves or somebody else. And so this other way of being, which is that of just arriving for what's happening and holding it with care and interest, while it goes against the stream of how we do things, can be incredibly nourishing because we're getting some of that energy back, which also enhances and increases the availability of awareness for us to see even more clearly how the patterns we've been using in the past don't actually work. While they might be a strategy that gives us short-term sense of safety, because there's some predictability if I'm controlling the outcome of things, overall, in the larger view, we just can't, right? And it's an illusion that we're protecting, that things can go in the way that we really want them to go, ultimately. I mean this in the ultimate sense, right? On the relative sense, of course, we can influence how things go. Now, I want to be really careful as I'm saying this, because I'm not saying that we should just let go of everything and just meet every single moment and hold back, right? There's a wisdom into this. There's a time where we come and we move into action, and there's a time where we sit back and we let things happen. The thing is that we are so compulsive about acting because we're uncomfortable with not knowing how things are going to turn out, that we don't allow the space even for presence to be there before we actually make the decision as to whether we're going to act or not act. And so the actions are coming out of a compulsive nature, not intentional, not necessarily conscious. And so being able to pause without engaging directly into the compulsion, being able to assess what the situation actually is by just opening up completely and receiving it, gives us all of the pieces of information that we need, or the clarity, if you will, for us to be able to have more of an informed decision if we decide that we are going to interfere or become involved. And so this is part of the value of meditation. It's not about what's happening in the meditation. It's about the slight shift that happens little by little over time that starts to, in a way, retrain the way we do things so that that becomes our default way of operating through the world, not the conditioning or the compulsion that we've picked up over time. And that however we come into the world is really the result of our intentionality coming from a place of presence, not sponsored by excessive fear or anxiety or needing things to be in a particular way.